Hey agents, Spyplane 662 Gaming here, and got an update to my Striker Nomad build. I put out a build video for this setup a few days back when I was running a lightweight M4 and an MP5 ST as my secondary, but having recently found the Showstopper shotgun about a couple days ago, I had to reconstruct this build for this character to implement this Showstopper weapon. Absolutely pleased with it so far. I was a little skeptical at first for PvE content on how well the Showstopper would perform. I'm pretty sure it'll hold up well in PvP. I also have a Tactical Sausage that I could run with too as a backup in PvP. I got to tell you, after moving a couple of pieces around and reconfiguring my stats, I selected a new talent for the Showstopper here, and I've been pretty pleased with the way it's performing in PvP content. I'll leave a link to my old Nomad Strikers build below. And historically, what I've usually run is 8,000 firearms, right around 4,000 stamina or less. And electronics is just electronics. Whatever I could roll into it at the time, I'd let it be. I won't cover anything really about the lightweight M4 that's in the old video. And I'll address the Showstopper here now. Again, I found this out of a Lexington solo challenge run. I didn't realize that I had found this shotgun. I knew the shotgun, and when I found it, I was absolutely mesmerized. I was like, what is this thing? I couldn't remember the name and the weapon, but absolutely I was thrilled when I picked it up and looked at it because I've seen this and I've heard about it before. Shotguns don't typically fit into my game style, but after I found this, I definitely fell in love with it, man. Shooting it at the firing range and then experimenting it with in the DZ and in the PvE content, it's definitely something that I'll probably be running for a little while. Now, I found this one here with 352% stagger, and on my base firearms of 7,000, it does 65.5k damage. Fire rate's absolutely phenomenal, being an auto shotgun with a 20-round magazine. I wish you could do more with the Showstopper and the magazine size, but that's pretty comparable comparing to my Tactical Sausage with an extended mag at 110% only gives me an additional 7 rounds. So again, a little bit more firing output, and of course it being an auto fire shotgun, it's definitely pretty quick. So right now what I've got on here for the angle grip is a stability and accuracy reload speed grip, and then of course I got a pro red dot sight here that does about 17% crit damage, headshot damage, and accuracy. So I'm still trying to figure out if this is a good combination. That's kind of all I had really to put on here, and to be honest with you, I pulled this off my Tactical Sausage. So it's doing pretty well though so far in PvE content. I've taken it out to the DZ and I've run into a couple of agents out there, and I've done a lot better than what I've had in the past with my lightweight M4 and MP5. Again, I'm not a PvP content player. I absolutely suck at the PvE games, but I go out to the DZ to run the weekly and daily objectives to get those caches. When I found this, it had a talent that I couldn't unlock, and I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. But it came with Competent, which at the time I couldn't unlock either because of my low electronics skill. And of course, the Showstopper, everybody knows that with this weapon, with the fewer shells you have left in the magazine, the weapon increases accuracy. So with Competent, I felt that there was a really good potential to and of course requirement to build into the electronics, and I was just so fortunate enough to change a couple of stats around on one piece of my gear items to obtain the absolute bare minimum for this electronics build, 3832 on electronics. Of course I rolled in responsive here to increase damage output when I'm 10 meters to the target or closer, which I thought was pretty cool, and so far it's doing really well. Again, the Showstopper, pretty decent weapon. I'm pretty pleased with it so far. The chest piece on this Strikers is the same chest piece that I had before. I had it rolled into stamina and ended up putting in ammo just because of ammo is pretty critical to me. It had a pretty decent health throw with enemy armor damage built into it. And I'm running firearms health mods on this. I got really lucky with a couple of these firearms health mods. Darn near pretty good rolls here on these. My Striker's mask is the same mask. I had it rolled in the skill power. Prior to this conversion to meet the electronics requirements for the Showstopper, I was rolling a relatively low electronics build. So I ended up putting skill power on this mask. So I ended up keeping it because I'm relatively pleased with it so far. I do get a lot more heal and damage out of my skills when I run my tactical scanner and booster. I also run the scrambler, pulse scrambler in the dark zone when I'm running around trying to hide from other agents. Again, this one's running a firearms health. I bought this from the vendor a couple of weeks ago. Not that great, but I'm still looking for some better firearms health mods. Striker knee pads are still the same. Got a really decent, a really great roll on firearms here at 1270. I ended up putting health into this. And of course, the disrupt blind def resistance could be something better, more preferably bleed resistance or shock resistance. But again, the increased kill XP helps out with those field proficiency caches when I'm running around in the light zone. Stamina health mod, just to kind of bump up my stamina, I like to keep that around about 340 to 350 toughness. So the health actually was pretty critical for me there, and I've run a self-aid, first aid self-heal mod on this knee pad. The Nomad Pack is the old pack that I had from the previous build. However, to satisfy my electronic requirements for the Showstopper talents, I had to run this one into electronics. So I got pretty lucky and rolled a 1268. Had a low health roll, and ammo is always a plus for me. So on this one here, again with a notepad, you get the 15% health on kill, which is critical for me. Firearm skill power mod. This 267 firearm skill power mod was absolutely a great find. And of course, 2 first aid self-heal mods in the backpack. The Nomad Gloves are new to this build. I had an old set of very high rolled firearms gloves on my Nomad kit when I was running this back in 1.5. It was already spec'd into assault rifle damage and crit hit damage. And I believe on this, prior to me converting it to shotgun damage, I believe it had crit hit chance or health on kill. So what it ended up doing was rolling in shotgun damage to help me with this Showstopper, just to get that extra damage output. So pretty decent gloves here. And of course the Striker's holster. I got lucky with this one here too. Pretty decent rolls, all above 12. 1260 on the firearms. I ended up rolling in health, and I'm running a first aid self-heal. So with this build, what I can successfully achieve here with the higher skill power is a much better rate of healing. If you look at my booster shot, it's doing about 76,000 pounds of health heal in addition to that temporary damage, as opposed to, I believe, what I was doing before with the lower skill was roughly around 46 or 48. And of course, this is well over 126,000 health points from the hill on the self-heal, and I think I was doing about like 80 or 90 before with the low skill. So again, rolling in that extra skill power to help open up a talent on that Showstopper really is going to be a benefit for my gameplay, especially with my healing skills. And again, I'm still running the let me change that back here. I was just in the dark zone doing my weekly objectives. So normally I run the tac scanner, and of course the recovery link. Talents, no change to the talents. Steady hands and on the move, absolutely phenomenal talents here, especially for PvE content and stability on the shotgun and assault rifle, critical save, and strike back. Okay, so as you can see here on my lightweight M4, I'm doing about 315,000 DPS with 7,000 firearms. It's still kind of my primary weapon, when I'm running around in PvE content, but I tell you what, this Showstopper, I'll get in closer now to enemies. Still trying to stay in cover, obviously, but it absolutely will put a hurt on you. That stagger, it absolutely works really well on the NPCs in the light zone. So basically what I'm doing here is going to go ahead and demonstrate a one-shot cycle off this shotgun. With the Striker, obviously with the Striker Battle Gear 4-piece set talent gives you the ability to stack an additional 100% for every consecutive hit you get on target. As you can see below, when I fire one shell off with 8 shots, it's going to go ahead and add 8 shots so long as they hit the target. As you can see, this is an incremental boost to that Striker's Battle Gear talent. So right there in one magazine or less, I've basically bumped up my 100% damage, and now on the lightweight M4 I go immediately up to 620,000 and over 460,000 DPS on the Showstopper. Obviously if you miss, You know, usually when you miss, you lose 2 per bullet. Since you're losing, you know, you're missing 8 bullets. Of course, you do the math, you're losing 16 per shot when you miss on this shotgun. So that's a definite disadvantage. But again, with the shotgun up close, it's really hard to miss with targets up close. So I'm doing about 315k base damage on the lightweight M4, 239 base damage on the Showstopper. Double those with the Striker Battle Gear talent. And then now when I pop a booster shot and I stack up that 100%, I am doing in excess of 700,000 on the lightweight M4 and 530,000 or more on the Showstopper. So again, very pleased with this Showstopper. Striker Nomads build, pretty good combination here, guys. Check back with me here later. I've got 21 caches that I'm going to open. I've got several combat crafting caches. The majority of these are field proficiency, but I do have one weekly clash I'll go ahead and film a video on. Hoping to get a new Barrett's chest piece more of the character, but hey, you know, I'll entertain you with your decent weapons, say like the Airborne MDR, the Tommy gun, just for grins. But that's the quick update on the Striker Nomad build with the Showstopper, guys. Thanks for coming by, and y'all have a great day.